winner at WagerTalk even before the game is played with our Wager Rewards program. How does it work? Simple. Earn wager rewards on every purchase made at WagerTalk and Sports Memo. Those wager rewards can be converted into wager bucks on the first of every month. There is no additional fee to participate, and no additional details are required outside your valid WagerTalk or Sports Memo membership. On the first of each month, 5% of your wager rewards will be converted to wager bucks, which are available to purchase on all future purchases. Doesn't it feel good to be part of a rewards program with no additional hoops?
Welcome to Wager Talk Today. We apologize for being late today, guys. We had some technical issues, but it has been taken care of. I'm Lawrence Presman. He's Teddy Covers, and thank you all for taking the time out of your day to watch this show. It is known all around the world in 63 different languages and 84 different religions as the best daily sports betting show on the planet. Teddy, how are you, my friend?
I'm doing okay today, Prez. I've had better mornings, however. I don't like technical difficulties, and I certainly don't like losing with the Giants last night. The NFL has been so good. Football has been so good this season. I hate giving the clients a loser, especially one that you have on $9 Monday. But nonetheless, new day today, and we're still, I can't complain about the run.
No.
But even when you're hot, you hate losing, Prez, and I lost last night.
Yeah, listen, you know what I'm dealing with, because I'm three down on the season. I think I am here. My record is 11-14, and man, it kills me, dude. I'm doing so much work on the NFL, and man, I'm losing games by half points and whatnot. But this stuff is going to turn. 11-14 is not terrible. I will fix this season. But you, my brother, you are 16-10. That includes preseason. I want to pull up your actual record, because it's really, really outstanding. I know it off the top of my head,
bro. I can tell you every game I lost. Let's put it this way. I'm still at the point in the NFL season where I can tell you every game I lost since week 1. We're 10-4. We lost the opener with Buffalo against LA. I had LA that night. I had lost the game with the Raiders when Arizona scored on the last play of the game with zeros.
Yeah.
I lost the Vikings-Lions total by a half point that hopefully all the clients were able to win or push with. And then we lost last night. So 4 losses for the season to go with the 10 wins so far. And college football has been almost as good. It's been a nice start to football, Prez. I got no complaints.
Rob Braley in the house, he writes, Prez needed 60 likes just to start the show. That's actually funny, Teddy. That is a great line. Yeah. And I'm going to be hanging out with Rob Braley tomorrow night at the Blue Jay game. All right, Teddy, before we get into bringing out the guests, I just want to tell you, firstly, it's $2 Tuesday. Kevin Dolan is the $2 Tuesday handicapper. He's on first. He's going to talk LSU, Auburn, and Atletico Madrid. Then Tony Mejia is coming on after that. He's talking Yankees, Blue Jays, and the Middle Tennessee game on Friday. And, of course, Dave Sharapan at the end of the show. I might have to run in the middle of the show, and I apologize to everyone for that. The show did start late, but I have a meeting that I cannot skip. Teddy, I just want to tell everybody, I put up a promo for me. It's Pitch99, PITCH99. Guys, my baseball season, I've been telling you, has been so incredible from start to finish. I'm up big units. I'm on runs everywhere, Teddy. 7-2, 14-5 baseball run, blah, 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 blah.
How many units you up?
I'm up, I have to look. It's about 15, 20 units on the season. I'm happy with my baseball season, dude. I had a lull 10 days ago, and since then I've been on a monster run. Anyway, guys, you get the rest of my baseball season and playoffs for only $99. Use Pitch99. Teddy, what did we learn in the wonderful world of sports betting? We're going to talk about that total last night.
We're not going to talk about the total last night. Although, again, when and where you bet makes all the difference between winning games by a half point and losing games by a half point. And I will continue to say, wherever you are, whatever state you're in, wherever you're betting, You have one account, open two. You have two accounts, open three. You have three accounts, open six. You should have an account at every book that's legal and regulated in your state. And that way you end up with fewer half-point losers and more half-point winners like the total last night. Something stood out to me yesterday, Prez, though. It really stood out to me. And that's, I do bad beats, bad bets, bad for the books. I've been doing it every Monday for 20 years. Okay. It has a flaw. And I realized it last night. I moved to Las Vegas in 1998. And this is where my compass is set, essentially, as a sports bettor. And Vegas has always had two kinds of books. We have public books that limit sharp action, and we have wise guy books that welcome sharp action, at least to a reasonable extent. So when I'm doing BBBBBB, and as I've been doing it for so many years, I consider sharp bettors results as well as recreational bettors results. Then I have kind of a natural assumption that the rest of the world is like that, and it isn't. All right. Yesterday, when I was doing BBBBBB, when I talk about bad for the books, I said it was an okay day for the house on Sunday, nothing special. Eagles and under got pounded. They lost on that. They got pounded on Carolina and under in that game. Nobody bet Tampa. Nobody bet over. I was talking about all these games that were kind of wise guy moves. The Lions-Vikings total, which wasn't good for the house in theory. But I started reading some articles and looking on Twitter yesterday from the bookmakers that I follow, and they were talking about we had a monster Sunday and we had a monster Sunday, and my report was it was an okay day for the house on Sunday, nothing special. They lost a handful of games on BBBB. So that kind of opened my eyes, and I'm seeing all these books saying, wow, we had a big day, and that's not what I reported on the show yesterday. Like, where's the disconnect between A and B? Sharp money affects the lines for sure. But when it comes to so many of the newer books across the country, sharp money has very little impact on their bottom line. When the public loses, they win. And the public lost again on Sunday. Wise guy winnings didn't make a dent outside Nevada. We'll remember that moving forward for bad beats, bad bets, and bad for the books every Monday.
Super interesting. Super interesting. And what jumps into my mind is this. With legalized betting and the volume of betting being increased at a substantial rate, smart moves do not carry the gusto or whatever that they might have before, because I don't know if there's been a substantial increase in smart bets. There's just been a substantial increase in bets. I would say probably dumb bets more than smart.
Of course. That's not, recreational bettors versus professional bettors. There's two different mentalities. There's two different thought processes. And when compiling that report for every Monday, I've always used both. But what's happened is at this stage in the betting marketplace, the public money has dwarfed the sharp money. The sharp money still moves the lines. Make no mistake about it. The sharp money is still moving the lines, but when it comes to actually affecting the bottom line, the results for the house. Here in Vegas, sharp money has some effect. Around the country, not so much.
Right. John Clark writes, WagerTalk makes Joe's smarter bettors. Well, thanks, John. Appreciate that. Kevin Dolan joining us. Kev, welcome to WagerTalk today. We love having you. Dan, cue up the subtitles. The Irishman is in the house. What's up, dude?
Yeah, all good, fellas. Spent the weekend moving house, so obviously a bit tired after all that. But, good to be back on the show, obviously, and looking forward to breaking down a few of these games on today's show as well.
Well, let's get straight to
it. Just actually down the road, but we bought a house, so not too far, but it doesn't matter how far you move, really. You still got to, all the box work.
It's the worst. The worst. The craziest move I ever made, and I got to tell you guys, I know we're short for time, but I was like 25. I was in Sydney, Australia, all by myself. I lived in a studio apartment, and I had to move about 2 miles down the road. I literally put my entire belongings on the bed. The bed had wheels, and I wheeled my entire apartment to the next apartment. It doesn't get easier than that. Anyway, Kev, LSU playing Auburn this week. We got to get straight into these games. How do we bet this one?
Yeah, I love these big kind of SEC rivalry games, Prez. And, we got one of the best right here on Saturday. And I'm going to take LSU in this one, after winning the national title back in 2019, January 2020, obviously, LSU came back down to earth pretty hard in the next season, had a big target painted on their back, obviously, after that success the previous season, and it showed. Auburn absolutely blew the doors off them in Jordan-Hare Stadium back in 2020, 48-11 landslide victory. That was the most points either team has ever put up on the other one in their entire, 120 plus year series history. And, not only that, it was Auburn's biggest ever margin of victory over LSU in that one as well. So, coming into last year again, as if that wasn't bad enough for, and a kind of enthusiasm for LSU to raise their game. They got beat yet again last year. We've seen it for the first time in over 20 years where Auburn went to Baton Rouge and won that game. LSU were carrying a 10-point cushion heading into the fourth quarter of that game. Bo Nix pops up with 2 touchdowns down the stretch to give Auburn the late lead, and they seal it with an interception. So, as we said, first win in Baton Rouge for Auburn since 1999. I was a young pup back then, and with that being on top of the largest ever blowout victory against Auburn, as we mentioned the year prior, while I don't make a lot of revenge angles typically, look, if I was making calendars and I was on this LSU coaching staff, this would definitely be a game I'd be circling for this weekend. So, there are definitely some scenarios. This is one of them. LSU have a 64% return on production rate in their roster this season. There are a ton of players on this team who were there for last year's game as well. Guys putting in minutes on the field, wide receiver Malik Neighbors, wide receiver Jere Jenkins, and so on. So I believe we see LSU show up big in this one on Saturday. If it was just the one revenge angle, I might overlook it. But the fact that LSU has been slapped around by the same Auburn team in back-to-back years, by historical proportions as well, plus the fact a lot of the same players in the roster also, as we mentioned, I do believe they'll come out gunning for Auburn in this one. And LSU have looked pretty solid in their last few games, 33.7 points per game margin of victory over the last 3 starts. They ranked top 10 in the country on overall score and defense, opponent yards per game as well. And they face an Auburn team still dealing with that injury to TJ Finley from a couple of weeks ago, quarterback. Robbie Ashford hasn't impressed at all. Posted a 43.7 QBR rating against Missouri last week, 29.4 in the week prior, coming on for Finley against Penn State as well. So, yeah, I'm on LSU this weekend. I believe they win by double digits here. So, give me LSU.
Kevin Dolan knows his college football, the $2 Tuesday handicapper over at WagerTalk.com. His $2 Tuesday play is in college football, and we're talking about a guy who's up 132% on all of his 4% and 5% college football top-rated plays over the last 210. So clearly, he's been seeing his college football pretty well for a really long time. Let's talk about a little soccer for Saturday. Atletico Madrid against Sevilla. Talk to me. Who do we like and why?
Yeah, interesting game, Teddy, over in Spain this weekend between Atletico Madrid taking on Sevilla, as you mentioned. And after the highs of last year for Sevilla, they were in second place for most of the season. They finished the year with the best overall defensive record in the league as well, qualified for Champions League football. It's really been all downhill for them so far to start this season. Just one win in the league all year for the Roji Blancos. That coming against a relegation battle in Espanyol side as well, in a game they really should have lost. Espanyol had more goal attempts in that game. 9-1 shots off goal advantage, 72-22 dangerous attack advantage as well in that game. So, Sevilla have been playing some really poor stuff to start off this season. They faced an Atletico Madrid this weekend who, had some teething problems themselves to start the year. Just 3 wins over their opening 6 league games to start the season. But, they have started to put things together now under boss Diego Simeone. Before the break, they're unbeaten on the road this year as well. But look, we always say it on this show at WagerTalk, the spread is the great equalizer. And Sevilla are floating anywhere between a plus quarter goal to pick them right now at most books. And I really like that plus quarter goal head start here at home for Sevilla. It's going off minus 135, minus 140 right now. Sevilla lost just 1 game at home all season last year, 2021-2022 campaign. Only champions Real Madrid were able to match that record. And despite all their issues they're having to start this year. They've still only lost to Barcelona in this venue at home so far in the league. So they've had 2 weeks to prepare for this game. Lopetegui, their manager, is an incredibly astute boss, and they have a day's extra rest before Champions League starts back next week as well. Atletico have to play on the Tuesday, while Sevilla don't have to play until the Wednesday. So I like the value on the home side here, Sevilla, in this one, catching a quarter goal head start on Saturday against Atletico Madrid over in Spanish La Liga. I think that gets us to the window on Saturday.
Outstanding, Kevin. We love having you on, bro. We'll have you back every couple of weeks. Guys, as Teddy mentioned, Kevin Dolan is the $2 Tuesday handicapper at WagerTalk. He's got a 5% play. Guys, in case you've never bought plays from WagerTalk or listened to us before, we rate our plays 2, 3, 4, and 5%. A 5% play is the highest play we give out. Kevin has one this coming Saturday, and it's literally yours for $2. In Canada, we call it a toonie. It's $2. It's like half a coffee from Dunkin' Donuts. So make sure to check that out. And also, Sports Memo, we have the 3 handicappers for $5. Those 3 are Ross Benjamin, the Insider Room, and Dan Kaiser. I suck at pronouncing names. Kev, you absolutely rock. Thanks for being with us, brother. Have yourself an amazing afternoon. Teddy, we're going to take a quick break. We got the big game breakdown. We have swapped Dave Sharapan with Tony Mejia. Dave will be next, then Tony. We'll be right back, everyone.
Tuesdays is known as $2 Tuesdays at WagerTalk.com and SportsMemo.com, where you can get the hottest handicappers, best bet, or daily package for only $2.
It is time for today's big game breakdown. We got to talk a little MLB on a Tuesday, don't we? Dodgers and Padres. Right now, look at the WagerTalk live odds screen. I'm seeing basically a pick'em game. The Padres maybe minus 110 at home. Total 7.5, juice to the over. There are some 8s popping up out there. This is one of these classic MLB betting situations. Okay, the Dodgers just clinched the #1 overall seed. Playoffs with the win on Sunday. What are they playing for now? Well, here's a quote from Dave Roberts. We still want to win as many games as we can. We'll prepare for the playoffs. That's not a drive to victory over the last 10 days of the season. They've owned San Diego this year. All right, they're 4-2 in the games in San Diego, 12-4 overall. They've outscored the Padres 100-41 in those 16 games. Padres know all this. Bob Melvin, quote, the path to the World Series goes through the Dodgers. We have to get more competitive against them. Padres are playing good ball right now. 8-4 in their last dozen games. Melvin, quote, we're playing good baseball. This is more like we expected, and the timing couldn't be better. Blake Snell, solid current form. He's thrown well against the Dodgers in his career, but this isn't a matchup based on a wager based on starting pitching matchups, any stretch of the imagination. This is a Padres team that's playing their best ball of the year, that's primed to bring their A game tonight, and a Dodgers team that maybe just a little exhale the last week, 10 days of the regular season. The price is right. San Diego, pick 'em range. I think they win the game. I would be surprised they win it comfortably. Give me the Padres over the Dodgers. We don't see the Dodgers as dogs very often. They're dogs tonight for a reason. There's your big game breakdown. Back to you, El Presidente.
Teddy covers. Let's bring Dave Sharapan right in because Dave's got a hard stop in 9 minutes. And just to let everybody know, we did start the show late. It's not our fault. It is definitely the fault of somebody.
The universe.
So after the Dave Sharapan segment, I have to leave, and I'm going to leave Teddy with Tony Mejia. It's going to be awesome. It's going to be awesome. Oh, stop it.
No drama. No
Dave, let's
drama.
get
Yeah,
right
we're gonna
into
ruin
it, dude. Dave, let's get right
be
into it.
quick.
I
Let's
wanted
go.
to I wanted to wait for you to come on, and I want to read something that a customer wrote in the chat room, and I want your thoughts. Dylan
Okay.
Mahone writes, Prez,
Okay.
can you tell whoever makes the Wager Talk odds screen to put the games in order of start time and not rotation time?
Oh.
A lot of the books out there today are really not using rotation numbers. You know, the 365, the biggest book on the planet. It's all put in order of time. Teddy and Dave, whichever one of you, are the rotation numbers fading away? Should we do that incredible odds screen by time, or would you
I'll go
continue to
first.
do it by rotation number?
I'll go first. I can tell you this. The rotation numbers have such a useful value in the book, especially for ticket writers that are new to the business, for people that are new to betting. If you tell them to go find game number 101, 102, that's the same thing from book to book to book. And back in the day when they came up with these rotation numbers, it was able to be done quickly. Everybody spoke the same language. Now, some books will put them in order from time, East Coast time, the West Coast, your different time. Now I got to know East Coast time, but I know the language of 101, 102 is the Dolphins and the Bengals. It's pretty simple. I like the rotation numbers, but to answer your question, Prez, yes, the Euros don't use it. Therefore, the Euro software doesn't use it, which is all of the betting apps throughout the country. I wish they would stay, but they're going away.
Dave, I don't know if you saw it earlier in the show. I was talking about how I thought I got my bad beats, bad bet, bad for the books wrong yesterday because I was like the books did okay on Sunday because the wise guys won a bunch of bets on Sunday. And then you start reading the reports from around the country and the public got their butts kicked. And this book saying we had a huge day and that books were saying we got a huge day.
Yep.
You and I are Vegas guys. So we're kind of trained in rotation numbers and we're trained in, there's an element of the books that does cater to wise guys, and we need to factor whether the wise guys had a good day or not into how the books actually did. But when we start talking about the U.S. market as a whole right now, I'm not saying Vegas is obsolete, but the rotation numbers doesn't matter anymore. The professional bettors don't have a dent, don't even put a dent in what the books are doing around the country compared to Las Vegas. Do you find yourself with a similar bias where you're like overvaluing the Vegas way of looking at things and undervaluing the way the rest of the country is doing it?
No, I've always valued the way Vegas did everything, but I mean, I grew up in this business offshore before there was anything going on. I did almost 2 years down in Curacao and Dominican Republic, and so I've always had a global view of all of this. And yeah, I mean, Vegas is stuck in the mud in a lot of ways. I said this while I was in the books in Vegas. I was in the risk rooms here saying, guys, you got to adapt or die. And they weren't doing it so much. And now, as far as like getting reports about what the sharp money is and where all this bullshit is, it's all nonsense. But it has been for years. That's my pushback is that.
Yeah.
That's why the rhombuses and the parallelograms and all these people, like, it doesn't mean anything. I don't know what the sharp side is and the square side. I've been saying it for a decade minimum. There is a right side. I can tell you that. And a lot of the pros end up on that side more often than not. But they lose too. So
Dave,
I went yes, sir.
Do you have a problem with isosceles? Like, what is? Do you just against the isosceles?
I can't spell isosceles without Googling it and looking it up.
Like every time you come on, it's rhombuses and parallelograms. I've never heard isosceles out of your mouth. I feel like you are slightly isosceles.
Isosceles isn't a parallelogram. It's not a triangle or a rhombus or a parallelogram. It's a wrong term to use.
Any of those damn things are, Teddy.
I'm damn sure you don't. You sound stupider every time you open your mouth.
Every time. You know what?
This sounds like some drama. This sounds like some drama on a Flex Tuesday.
Yeah,
we even started late.
And
we're still bringing it.
Okay. You don't even know what an isosceles triangle is.
Calm down.
Isn't that a nice when all parts equal? When all
There
sides
you
equal.
go.
Am I right?
That's the definition.
Am I right?
Now you're describing the type of triangle, like he's talking about the type of rhombus or the type of parallelogram. You're like confirming that. Let's go. Dave, we need some actionable info.
Yes.
All right. Let's talk NFL first.
Sure.
Are we seeing anything in terms of early week betting and NFL action? What stands out to you in terms of the the money that we were interested in knowing what they're doing early in the week?
The early in the week money has just played the Arizona-Carolina game under, literally lighting up like a Christmas tree across the board. I'm wearing the Atlanta Falcons stuff, one, because apparently I look okay in red, but two, this is a Deion Sanders throwback, red jersey and hat. The Atlanta Falcons are hosting the Cleveland Browns. The Browns are road favorites today. This thing might be picked by midweek, and it might go off with Atlanta the favorite. Just keep that in mind. Atlanta's coming off a big win, going out west in Seattle. Still trying to figure out who Cleveland is. Yes, they had the long rest. Yes, they beat the Steelers on Thursday night. But I think the money's already been showing on the Falcons. A lot of question marks this week. The London game is early. Minnesota and the Saints is the first game in a rotation. Rotation number 251, 252 for those of you who still practice rotation numbers. Minnesota's favored. You can't figure the Saints team out. They're probably going to be a play, though, in the London game. The rest of the board's still shaking itself out. Be careful about the Steelers, too. 3.5-point favorites against the Jets. Who in the hell is going to back the Jets? I bet the rhombuses and the parallelograms are going to take the points against the Jets. Those are the peek aheads, look aheads. You and Drew already did the show. Again, there's tremendous value in that stuff. Be careful about the line moves because all them rhombuses and all them parallelograms waited for the Herbert news on Sunday.
Yeah.
Watched that line go down on Friday from 7 to 3, and they came in Brinks dump trucks of money. 3 minus 3.5, 4, 4.5, 5, all the way up to back to 7. And it didn't work out so well. So be careful about trying to figure out what the line moves mean.
Well said. Dave Sharapan. Dave, man, we absolutely love having you. I know you got a hard stop in a minute, but basically I'm just going to hand this over to Teddy and he'll talk with you until you get off your chair and leave on air. Like, just make it dramatic. Just literally get up and just walk out while talking.
Why do you always want the drama? I don't want drama on Tuesdays. Please, no dramas. But I got 3 minutes. What's the next question? I got 3 minutes right now.
Would you like to talk MLB or college football? Let's talk both if we have 3 minutes.
Yeah.
Does anything happen in the MLB markets over the last 10 days of the season?
No, you know what an interesting global market thing is that's maybe not in Vegas, but it was dominating my conversations on content and shows that I'm doing all across the country. I was on MLB Network yesterday with Vescursion. There's a bet. Will Aaron Judge win the Triple Crown? Yes or no? Now, granted, the price is the spread on this thing is ridiculous. It was minus 150, yes, and the comeback was only plus 115. That was the real story of the whole thing. But that was a BetMGM line, and that's what they're offering. Now, why in the world would you take back plus 115 if the minus is 150? But it might be your only option. Do you think he's going to do it, yes or no? I think he is. I'm rooting for it as a baseball fan. But as far as baseball betting daily, no, Teddy. During the weekend, it's non-existent because there's football on. And there's really only one race left. I think you got to start picking out your future spots. If you think Atlanta's going to win a division, I think they're live to win the World Series. If you think the Mets are going to win a division, I think they're live to win a World Series. The loser is not because they have to play an extra series and the pitching gets messed up. That's the baseball takeaway. College football? What do you got for college football? Look ahead.
Let's talk a little weeknight action at least. The Thursday-Friday game. You seen anything come in that stands out to you?
Nothing yet on Utah State BYU Thursday. And honestly, I haven't even looked at Friday, but I know New Mexico is at UNLV. There's like 6 teams in the country that are undefeated against the spread in college football. And you'd have never guessed before the season that UNLV is one of them. Okay? They play Friday night at home. There'll be nobody at the game, but there'll be nobody on the other side. I don't think anybody's going to take New Mexico. That'll be one of those games where we go in the risk room going, oh, what do we need today? We're going to need against UNLV. We need New Mexico. So that's the Friday night breakdown. There's a lot of crappy games. I think Texas San Antonio will be a popular choice as well, both from that public guy who I've been looking for 25 years. Can't find this one guy, this Joe Public. Apparently he's everywhere, betting in all the books. And then rhombuses and the parallelograms. I don't know where they're at either.
Dave Sharapan.
Always entertaining and informative information from Dave Sharapan at SportsBK Consig on Twitter. Prez, I didn't think you were here. I thought you left already.
No,
anyhow,
dude,
Dave, anything that you would like to promote before you leave?
Every day, Monday through Friday, Bostonian versus the Book. Me and Matt Peralt, 10 a.m. Pacific, 1 o'clock Eastern. Monday through Friday, 4 o'clock Pacific, 7 o'clock Eastern. Sports Grid, Sirius XM 159 with Morency, Cam Stewart. Then I follow that with Ranieri, who, by the way, those three combined with Merrill and Paul Bovey went 14-1 in the Westgate contest. They're going to pick up money in that thing. We should be talking to them every day.
So Dave,
Yes.
I'm gonna let you know, Carmine Bianco is 15-0 in the Circa.
No way.
Yeah. Carmine is going to lose all his body hair this weekend. He has no hair on the top of his head to lose. But if he sweeps this weekend, it's $150,000. And for Canadians, that's about $180,000. So Carmine is going to absolutely lose his freaking shit this weekend.
Just in time for hockey season starting, which we'll discuss here every day. Hockey season is right on the horizon. And then soon it'll be basketball season, and Carm will be loaded up. We can only hope that Carm goes 4-1 or better. I'm saying it right now.
There's only two guys that are 15-0, and Kelly, me, Marco, Steve Merrill, and Jay Money are a team. We are 13-2. But Carm, everybody watching this show, everybody on the planet, focus your positive energy for Carmine Bianco. Guys, I gotta run. Teddy, Dave, I love you. Teddy, take the show over. Tony Mejia joining us, everyone. Be well, everybody. We'll see you tomorrow.
Yeah, everyone's got hard outs, and then somehow they stick around 5 minutes after their hard outs. Let's bring in Tony Mejia to join us and close out the show today. Tony, appreciate your patience very, very much for sticking around throughout the program. I know you got bumped because Sharapan had a hard out that he didn't actually leave for. Let's get into some actionable information today on Tuesday. You want to talk about we already had a little Aaron Judge talk. Let's talk about the Blue Jays and the Yankees MLB action Tuesday night. This is a game people will be watching and paying attention to. Look at the WagerTalk live odds screen. It's basically a pick 'em out there. Toronto -105, -110. Total bouncing. There are 7.5s out there. There are 8s out there with the Blue Jays and the Yanks. What are we going to do with this one?
Well, we're going to chastise Aaron Boone for not walking Vlad Guerrero Jr. yesterday when he had a chance to, especially when in the top of the inning, the Blue Jays did the right thing, even though it seemed foolish at the time to put two men in scoring position, but they didn't want to see Judge. Rizzo didn't make them pay for it. And it's very clear that the Blue Jays' philosophy in this series is don't let Aaron Judge beat you. But to correlate that to tonight's play, I think the over is a solid way to go because we didn't get there yesterday. The number was about the same, 7.5, with Severino going for the Yankees and Kevin Gossman for the Blue Jays. Tonight it's Jose Berrios, who's a very different pitcher at home than he's been on the road, but largely has been mediocre this year and certainly not up to his standards. And for the Yankees, Jameson Taillon coming off one of his best starts of his entire career. I think it was second most swings and misses against the Red Sox that he's ever had. Tied his strikeouts for the strikeout most strikeouts for this season with 8. So he's obviously in a little bit of a groove. But Teddy, I mean, look, the Blue Jays are going to see Jameson Tyone for the 6th time this season. I mean, that's crazy. You rarely see that. And then as far as the Yankees go, yeah, you want to walk Aaron Judge, who against Jose Barrios, 6 for 18 with a home run, slashing 330, 350, 556. Well, you presume that even though Aaron Boone did the stupid thing yesterday, he'll still have Anthony Rizzo batting behind Judge for some lineup protection. Rizzo against Jose Barrios, 7 for 19 in his career, a couple of homers, 368, 429, 737 slashing. So I think we'll see run.
Yeah, I mean, so I have a hard time with Barrios. So he's one of the most random pitchers for me. You know, he comes in and he throws a gem, a 7-inning, 2-hit, 1-run gem, and next time out he's giving up, getting bombed and knocked out of the box in the third. Have you found anything like a good indicator for him for when he's going to be solid and when he's going to be awful? Because in terms of pitchers, he's as random as any starter in baseball. I haven't played a whole lot of his games as a result because he literally can get blown up in every game or throw a 7-inning gem in any game. And I've had a real hard time putting a read on Toronto's non-ace.
Yeah, I mean, he was supposed to be, and he certainly has the stuff to do it. I mean, his home road splits are what they are: 7-1 at home with a 3.98 ERA, on the road 4-5, 6.75, and he's coming off a stinker on the road in Tampa Bay. Lasted just 2 innings, gave up 6 runs on 7 hits. So. But that was the only loss that the Blue Jays have had in his last 7 starts, even though he hasn't really been great. I mean, his ERA in September, weighted down by that Rays blowout, is 4.87. His ERA in August was 6.92. So, I mean, he's just eating innings and trying to get through. I mean, clearly not a great year. We'll see if anything physical is going on with him that we'll find out at the end of the season. But yeah, I think the Yankees will get to him. Like I said, maybe this is a night for Aaron Judge if he sees a pitch to finally hit 61. But if they continue to exercise caution with him, certainly Anthony Rizzo has a solid history against Barrios that he should be able to take advantage of it, get the Yankees some runs. And again, I don't think Tyone, who's the Yankees' 5th starter and he's been solid this season, is going to pitch 2 gems in a row. I think the Blue Jays can get to him too, especially seeing him for a 6th time this season. I mean, you see that during the year with division rivals, but 6 is still a little excessive.
So Tony says take a look at the Yankees and Blue Jays over the total, and tonight could well be the night that Judge goes for 61. Real quick, Judge, Triple Crown, yes or no?
Yeah, but I don't like it at 150. For that price,
exactly.
Bogarts are all right.
Yeah.
Mariah's
Yeah.
minus 150, no thanks.
The price is wrong. So let's shift our focus to college football, Friday night TV action. This is the game that Dave Sharapan referenced earlier, saying that he expected some of the sharp money to come in on UTSA, the Road Runners, against Middle Tennessee. I'll tell you what, Middle Tennessee last week against Miami, there was nothing fraudulent about that win. They were the better of the 2 teams, and their receivers over and over again kept on getting behind Miami's secondary, and the quarterback was good enough to get him the ball in stride. Big play touchdown, big play touchdown, big play touchdown. Now they're home dogs and stepping up in class again. Looking at the WagerTalk live odds screen, I'm seeing UTSA -4, total sitting 62.5, 63. What do we do with this one, Tony Mejia?
Yeah, I mean, 99-yard touchdown pass. You could say that that's a fluke, but the fact is, as you mentioned, Middle Tennessee's receivers were open all day against Miami's D-backs. Chase Cunningham is a veteran quarterback, 5th-year senior at least. He might be a 6th year. And his counterpart, Frank Harris, one of the best players in Conference USA, is a 6th-year senior, and he's coming off a season best, a career best, 392-yard school record, 4 touchdown passes against Robert Harris's alma mater, Texas Southern. Sorry, Robert. But, these 2 teams are really capable of lighting it up. Total 62.5, 63. They should have a great crowd at Middle Tennessee coming off this this upset of Miami, first ever top 25 upset in school history. They're retiring Kevin Byard, the Tennessee safety, his number at halftime. So Murfreesboro should be the place to be on Friday night, and I think they'll get a show. I think we'll see both offenses really get going. I wrote the gold sheet write up for this game, and I had it getting to 75 between these two teams. So 62.5, not going to blink. Some 63s out there. I think this is a great bet. It's going to be a 4% play, but I'm giving it out here for free up to 65.
I mean, he a 4% play. Good thing you stuck around to watch it. Take a look at Middle Tennessee and UTSA over the total on Friday night. Tony, how you running? What do you got to promote for the clients this week and kind of in to the next weekend?
Yeah, I know people aren't betting baseball anymore, but I've been on a great run with 3% or higher. Took a little bit of a hit this weekend on that, especially Sunday. Just needed a base hit in one game or two, didn't get it. But we'll look to finish the season strong there. And number one in totals on college football. Really, got destroyed on backdoor covers back to back. I had North Texas backdoor Memphis and Florida backdoor Tennessee almost simultaneously. So hopefully get on the right side there. I've got all my numbers together. Now it's just about getting plays in and beating this hurricane, man. So I'll have power until at least tomorrow night. We'll get it going. Lost power only once briefly. But yeah, we're already getting, as South Florida can attest to, we're already, Ian is saying hello.
Well, stay safe, Tony. I mean, of all this stuff, hurricanes, no joke. Stay safe out there. And all you guys who are dealing with a hurricane, what's it, Ian? Something with an I. Whatever it's called, hurricane. Number one, pay attention to when you're handicapping. And number two, stay safe out there. Tony, thank you so much for joining me today. Really appreciate your time and effort. Best of luck this week and coming weekend. I want to thank Tony. I want to thank Dave Sharapan. I want to thank Kevin Dolan. And I want to thank all of you guys for sticking around. I know we had some technical difficulties at the top. Hey, it's a live show. It will happen on occasion. Hopefully it doesn't happen every day. And it certainly don't expect it to happen tomorrow. We'll be right back on this show tomorrow like we are each and every weekday, 9 a.m. Pacific, noon for you back east. Between now and then, come on, guys. You know what to do. Enjoy the games and good luck.
Tuesdays is known as $2 Tuesdays at WagerTalk.com and SportsMemo.com, where you can get the hottest handicappers, best bet, or daily package for only $2.